What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, they're back, baby. The actors, they're back in business.
We're so back.
Finally paid them. We're gonna be back in this same spot 3 years from today. Let's go. 3 years from today, writers, actors, they're gonna be right back in the same spot.
Yep, unfortunately.
We can start talking, though, full everything. Thank you to Movie Meal patrons. Kimberly and Karen, go get some merch, guys. We're gonna give a hoodie like this away, the Movie Meals exclusive popcorn hoodie away to somebody who comments, is supporting us, giving us likes, all that good stuff. Help us get to 2,000. Once we get to 2,000, we're gonna pick people who are doing that, sharing the video around, so
and we're
do
watching
all that good stuff. Thank goodness that they're finally paying their actors.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be, I think, the first thing we talk about here. Kyle's got more info. We don't know all the details, I don't believe yet, but
no.
As of recording this. But Kyle, take it away.
Mainly the big highlights that I've been seeing and reading, although nothing has been made clear with specifics yet. Again, as of this recording, but from what I've seen, like this new deal is gonna be valued at $1 billion, and it's going to include a streaming participation bonus, substantial increases for pension and health caps, pay increases for the background actors, contract provisions protecting diverse communities. Let's see, what else is there? Above pattern minimum compensation increases, and the biggest of them all, major provisions for consent and compensation from AI. So probably going to be a lot more protections when it comes to studios trying to secretly scan people and trick them into giving away their likeness for a couple bucks. Shocker.
I will give you $12 to use your name and your face for the rest of eternity. $12 whole dollars.
It is no longer yours. It will be mine. But think of the $12 you can use for, I don't know, bananas?
Maybe
that's the cost of bananas now.
Yeah, pretty much. Eggs. Milk, maybe.
Do you like eggs? You may have eggs.
Shout out to all the actors and the writers as well who spent the last 6-7 months picketing. You guys do the heavy lifting. You were out there picketing, making sure that you were going to get a deal that was worth it. It sounds like this is worth it. I mean, the nanny herself is in charge, Fran Drescher. She was pumped. I saw pictures of her, happy as a clam.
30th anniversary of that show, by the way. Just happened. Yeah.
Time to rewatch it. That's what I just heard. Better rewatch the whole dang thing.
Just a funny coincidence. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
I apologize if I'll be coughing throughout this. I've been recovering. It's part of the reason podcast took a little break. I was sick. Kyle was busy apparently, and then I was in New York seeing The Lion King on Broadway. Incredible times. So, this is great. This is excellent. It sounds like they got everything they wanted. I'm very curious to see what the specifics of the AI stuff is, because the writers came away with exactly what they should be getting in AI, that AI should not be controlling the world here. And that's important. You should get residuals if your name, if you choose to get your face scanned and you make that decision, you should be getting paid, and your family should be getting paid for that likeness for the rest of your and their lives.
Yeah.
So the studios, guess what? You still suck. You've always sucked, and you will continue to suck, Big Bob Iger. Zazzy boy. If I ever saw him on the street, that's what I'd call him. I'd be like, Zazzy boy, you're a loser. I'd be better than you.
Mr. Sony Pictures and
whoever
Mr.
you are.
Paramount Pictures.
It was Amy Pascal forever. I don't know who's in charge of Sony anymore.
I don't know. Who cares?
Anyway, this is excellent. I love this. This is fantastic. Other anything, Kyle?
Yeah, again, we don't know the specifics, so there's no reason for me to try to think of like what the good or the bad is. I imagine that if SAG decided to make the deal happen after, by the sounds of it, the last thing was that the studios caved in when it comes to some of the AI stuff after the Actors Guild said no. So I feel like when that happened, when they were able to have them change the wording within the contract, by the sounds of the reports, then that means the deal seems to be very fair for the actors across the board. So between protecting actors a lot better from the AI, which I hope when we see more details that is the case, this will be good. Just sucks that it's 3 years, kind of like with the writers' strike, but I think with the way that the world works now and it's constantly changing, constantly evolving, it's just doing a much faster pace compared to the last strike that we have had. It's just there's gonna be coming back to the drawing board when it comes to contracts a lot sooner than normal. So that just might be the reality, but we'll just have to see how that plays out.
It's true. It's true. All right. Let's move on.
Well, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to mention? You mentioned you went to a little place called Broadway. Do you want to brag about that?
Broadway.
What's that? What's that about? Were you in a play? Were you the star?
I wish.
You
I think that would be culturally insensitive if I was the star.
Why? What was the play?
The Lion King.
Oh, then, well, yeah.
You could cast me as maybe one of the worms that like Timon and Pumbaa eat.
Yeah, that'd be
it
good.
was incredible though. I've seen a Broadway production, but I've never been on Broadway and seen a Broadway production. I've seen Hamilton, obviously, but man, this was incredible. This was the coolest set design of a play I've ever seen. Hamilton doesn't really have an insane set. They've got some cool aspects of their set, but the sets and costumes were mind-blowing. All the actors were incredible, especially Rafiki, and I especially loved Simba and Nala. They were excellent. It was awesome. It was really cool. They had a charity they talked about at the end. They asked all the audience to sit back down. They were talking about a charity that helps fight AIDS over in Africa. We gathered up all the cash we had and donated to that because that's just cool. When you do stuff like that, it was like this is so cool. You just put on the coolest show I've maybe ever seen. I'm going to support you. It was incredible. Seriously, the set design was insane, and we were in the third row. So
you were that close. Wow, that's awesome.
we were a little to the side, but
that's all right.
And by a little, I mean we were all the way to the side, but it was still great. It was really good. And in fact, I actually kind of liked being on the side. The only bummer is I couldn't see parts of the stage as well. Like I probably missed some things about how great it was, but I got most of the full effect. It was really, really cool, except for the annoying guy behind me. He was obnoxious. And look, I get it. I've been in plays. If I could sing, I would have attempted a Broadway run, but this guy was behind us, would not stop. Like there's overexcitement. You know, when you're in a Marvel movie and everyone cheers, great, join. When you're in the Marvel movie and you're the only one cheering, okay, you need to calm down. And that's kind of what it was. He was just like over, like everybody would cheer and holler, and then all of a sudden we'd stop and he'd be right behind me. He'd be the only one screaming his butt off. And it was like, guy, it is great. This play is phenomenal. This is how you fall in love with theater. This is how you fall in love with storytelling. I understand, but you got to rein it in because you are around other people and you got to think of them. Okay, we'll give you a limit. How much? If you want to do a little extra, that's fine, but it was too much. And then he switched seats. Before the show, he's like, I see those two seats. I don't think anyone's sitting there. If they're there at intermission, I'm taking them. And then he left, and that was nice.
Okay.
And I did see
Thank
somebody
goodness.
come up and be like, hey, he was still kind of close to us, but somebody came up to him and was like, hey, you can't sit here. You were sitting over there. And he was like, well, no one was sitting here. If somebody comes and takes it, I'll move or whatever. And he just stayed there. It was ridiculous.
Oh, one of the ushers
but yeah,
did
no,
that.
really, really, really cool. So, yeah.
Nice, man. Glad you got that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. I want to go see other stuff. There's so many. Back to the Future's up there in Broadway right now. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? I want to see that.
I didn't
sounds
know that was still
incredible.
running.
I didn't even know it was a play. I didn't even know it was a play. Until I was walking around, I saw 80 signs.
How
Daniel
did I know
Radcliffe and Jonathan Groff are in a play right now together on Broadway.
Yeah,
And I was like, how are we not here all the time? This is incredible.
Did you see
Anyway,
that
let's
video
move
of
on.
them?
We got big things to talk about.
Did you see the lie
I've seen a
detector
couple.
test video with those two? I forget the
I've
actress's
seen some
name,
clips, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. That's a really good one.
That actress,
yeah.
though, I haven't seen that actress, though, in anything other than clips I've seen of her on 21 Chump Street, which is a play that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote kind of a spin musical of 21 Jump Street, and she was really good in the. I haven't seen obviously the show, but I've seen quite a few clips, and she seems very talented. So, all right, let's get to Scorsese here. Let's do Scorsese because that's some old news here. We'll get through that quicker.
Yeah, it's on the older side since we've been gone. Yeah, so Alex, are you talking about the one involving this heated battle between the Russo brothers and Martin Scorsese? Is that the one you're talking about?
So, it turned into this huge issue. Like other people were like, who? No one's gonna remember the Russo brothers and like all this stuff. And I watched both videos, and the video with Martin Scorsese is adorable. And I didn't
with his
read
dog named Oscar, right?
Yeah, and also Martin Scorsese is like, how old is he? Like 80 something? 80 something? I think last time I put him in the 90s unfairly, but he's up there.
I think 80.
Tell me how many grandparents you have that have their dog named Oscar. I don't think he named his dog Oscar because he's like, I love the Academy Awards. It's a good name. It's a good name. It's a good name for that dog too.
My grandpa's had 5 dogs, all named Oscar.
That video's cute, and I felt that the video of which Russo is it? Was it Joe or Anthony?
Jothany.
I think it was Joe.
Okay.
I think the video of him, I think his humor, I think he was definitely trying to be funny. I don't think he had enough of the slapstick where people were like, he's taking a shot. It does kind of read like that, but he wasn't taking a shot at Martin Scorsese. He probably adores Martin Scorsese. And
who wouldn't if you're a filmmaker?
He was making a joke, and everybody ran with it so harshly on Joe. And it's like, look, Joe and Anthony Russo, if you hate Endgame, cool. They made Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier's awesome. Have they made great content since? No, they haven't. They've made some okay stuff. Cherry was okay. They've made, I know they had that one Ryan Reynolds movie I watched. It was okay. It's clearly forgettable. Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling, could be any of those Ryans, but it was some hitman movie.
Gray Man.
The Gray Man, yeah.
I like to forget that one.
It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't bad. I've seen worse action movies. Seen a lot better action movies. So people need to calm down with all this. And I keep seeing videos of Killers of the Flower Moon's too long. And then I hear these same people naming these other movies, and they're like, oh, I didn't watch this movie either because that's too long. It's 3 hours. And then I looked up the runtime of a few of them, and I started leaving comments because I was annoyed. I started looking up the runtime, and it was like 2:30.
Use our channel for that.
And it was like, what are we talking about here? A 3.5 hour movie is long, okay? Mm-hmm. But don't start comparing. Endgame is long. Endgame is 3 hours, okay? Mm-hmm. Endgame is long. It's a little over 3 hours. It's long. But then people started saying other movies that were 2 hours and 20 minutes. They're like, I didn't watch that one. That's too long. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now what are we doing here? Anyway, I'm ranting. It's dumb, and if you hate Scorsese or the Russo brothers, go out and touch some grass. Thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I don't like being a part of a hate train when it comes to any sort of celebrity, filmmaker, what have you. I also thought this one was ridiculous and was taken out of context. I mean, I get I guess I get the sentiment if you're not a fan of the Russo brothers or of MCU. I think that's fine on that alone, but I don't think that the joke that he's trying to make was a shot towards Scorsese, which means that I don't think you need to be taking shots at whoever Russo brother that is. I honestly don't know who it was. Just one of those internet things where you just blow like what's supposed to be a joke out of proportion, and it's just that whole weird gatekeeping part of it when like you're gatekeeping nothing is really stupid to me. So yeah, I felt like this was a nothing burger, and people really took it and ran with it into the ground far too much, and I'm over it. It's okay to like both guys. It's okay to like or prefer one or the other, but we don't need to be lashing out at filmmakers like that. Like, there's still people too, so let's just relax.
Yeah, it's just dumb. All right, let's move on here.
Well, did you Speaking of Scorsese, did you want to talk more about Killers of the Flower Moon? Because I think I remember you saying you had something you wanted to address about it, that you heard. Do you remember at all? No?
No, don't remember. We made those notes a long time ago. Don't remember. Move on.
No, that's
Let's
fair.
move to the bombshell article. Let's move to this Variety bombshell here.
Oh,
Let's
the
move
Marvel
to
one?
this article. Yeah, let's move to that topic.
Yeah, so what was this? About a week ago that Variety put out an article talking about, like, I guess the state of Marvel and like what Marvel is thinking about doing in terms of its direction moving forward. For starters, it sounds like they're trying to phase out Kane the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors, who, as we know, is going through some of his own
Legal battles,
lawsuits, legal battles, and it doesn't look good from his.
Let's rattle them all off real quick. The kind of the main things that the article brought
Yeah,
up.
if you have them off the top of your head, go for it.
Let's bounce them back and forth because there was Jonathan Majors that Marvel has been considering before the legal troubles that Jonathan Majors and Kang is not working after Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they want to move off into possibly Doctor Doom. That was one. Another one was Blade is getting heavy rewrites because Mahershala Ali almost quit the project because he was apparently relegated to the fourth lead with multiple female protagonists. I remember that was a big point. We have to point that part out very specifically because that's how Hollywood freaks out over. I remember that.
And the writer on that now, as of now, is the Logan writer.
Writer for Logan, okay? Yeah. And there were some other things that, because everybody's saying the MCU's in shambles, I can't remember now. Those were the two big things. I know there were more. I've been looking to find.
I do remember. Nia DaCosta.
Yes, the Marvels, Nia DaCosta left.
I think this was the part that really raised eyebrows on the internet. It was that Nia DaCosta began working on another film, and she had to stay in London while post-production was happening for the Marvels. But after that article came out, she did have an interview where she clarified that there was a lot of schedule changes happening at around that time, and post-production had already begun so much that they knew the vision that they wanted this movie to be. And since she lined up this next project, she asked if she could fly to London and start working on that. And on top of that too, it's not abnormal for directors to be handling multiple productions at the same time. Like, there's cases to be made of, like, the Scorseses and the Spielbergs that do that very thing. So that was a weird part of the article for sure.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with her, and she was like, look, she said, I pushed this movie that she's supposed to be doing with Tessa Thompson, I believe is who she's doing it with. She said, I pushed this in 2020 to make the Marvels. Like, these were supposed to line up perfect. When COVID hit, I had to push my schedule. They made me push our dates for the Marvels. I had to push it. She goes, it continued to happen. They kept moving my dates. So they kept pushing everything. Eventually, I had to say, I have made promises to other people, and I have been pushing this, and I need to now go film this. We have figured out ways to work remotely. We have figured out ways to continue where I'm there. And she said that she really trusted her team and that her team was doing a really good job. If you were coming after her, you are a turd. That's exactly what you are. Okay, you're a little turd. Yeah. It's a business. That makes sense. That makes sense with filmmaking. And if you don't think that makes sense, then you clearly haven't been making films. Like, at some point, especially with those big budget ones, they have all the control, and that's probably where a big chunk of her paycheck's coming in. And she said, I'm going to push it. I'm going to push this other movie. I'm going to push it. And eventually she said, look, I'm a creative, though. I want to go make these other movies. If this was James Gunn doing this, if this was the Russo brothers doing this, if this was any of these other big names doing this, everyone would have supported them. 100%. They would have been like, oh, that's fine. He'll fly back in. This guy will fly back in. But it's because they're treating her this way because, one, it's the Marvels, and all the sexist turds are out, and it's ridiculous. It's disgusting, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it, Kyle.
Yeah, you and me both. Absolutely. It's dumb. Luckily online, at least on my side of things, I hadn't seen that come out, of like the sexist trash, I have seen people like defending her more than Marvel.
I think
So
I have too, but still, it's
those could be our circles though. Like we really do not keep track of like the sexist YouTube.
no. I try
pricks
to
and-
block them.
Yeah,
They're
we block
disgusting.
them. We don't follow their channels. Like so that makes sense. But just from my point of view, that hasn't really been a topic of conversation, I suppose. I also do remember now the article mentioning Victoria Alonso and the firing that happened with her. And basically, the article is making it out to be, or that's kind of the wrong way to phrase it, but the article is saying that it feels like behind the scenes she was a scapegoat when it came to the VFX issues that were happening around that time, but really the issues are lying with Kevin Feige and the overbooking of all these productions and the timetables that are being had. So it is coming to the defense of Alonso, and I think that's a good thing at least, because it never really seemed like to me that she necessarily was the issue, because we have seen in the past with all the other productions she has worked with since the beginning that they've all looked good, you know? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just unfortunate. I mean, she's really good. I'm sure she's really good at her job. She's able to find other work, but that got brought to light within the article as well.
I feel like there's something we're missing.
I know, right?
I
I'm
do want
trying
to touch
to-
on the Jeremy Allen White thing. I don't think that wasn't part of the article necessarily, but I
No.
do want to touch on that.
I just thought that was funny.
I do too, but I find it interesting. So I've got that article pulled up here. And so
I just
Jeremy-
remembered. I remember what the last thing was, but you keep going. We'll
No,
put it
you
after.
say it so we don't forget it.
Marvel behind the scenes is considering bringing back characters like Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson.
big thing.
I think Chris Evans was listed, but those were the three.
And the big rumor with that is that that Deadpool 3 is rumored to be a version of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, where him and Wolverine are recruiting people from all over the universes to fight whoever they choose, whether it's the army of Kangs or not. At this point of recording, we both have finished Loki. We haven't reviewed it yet. We're going to do that after this show. And the events of that were pretty freaking good, just to say. So, Shambles really ended pretty quick there at the end of the day. But
We're
let's
back,
get to
baby.
Jeremy Allen White real quick. So Jeremy Allen White was asked, and I long ago, and I would love to find the clip, I long ago said Jeremy Allen White, I said the guy from Shameless would be a great Adam Warlock. When we were talking about actors to be Adam Warlock long ago, before we got the version we ended up getting, it was more comical, a darker, grittier type. I remember talking about. I pitched him. I've been pitching him for Marvel for years, and now I don't want him in Marvel, just because this rubs me the wrong way. He said he had a meeting for a Marvel-y kind of movie. Maybe it wasn't Marvel. Could have been DC. Could have been Star Wars. It could have been a lot of different things. But he said,
Could have been
I had a
Sony.
meeting for a kind of Marvel-y movie, and I had an attitude. White said, I think I played it all wrong. He goes on to continue to say that he told the executives, tell me about why I should do your movie. And he said that they did not respond well to that, and they told him to F off, and he was like, okay. And that he was very confused about the whole process, and he prefers to make these smaller independent movies. He's going to be great in Iron Claw. I'm hyped to see that. It looks
That
fantastic.
movie looks really good. I'm happy for Zac Efron too. That dude needs.
Finally! We've been preaching it on this channel for
he
years.
needs something. Yeah.
He needed a new agent. Decades and decades. And he got a
hope
new
he got
jaw
one.
instead, it looks like. 'Cause that's what everybody's talking about, is how different his face looks, but apparently he broke his jaw, whatever.
Yeah, he looks fine.
But I think this is interesting. So I'm trying to think. If you're thinking the Marvel-y movies, and I'm thinking big franchises, I can only really think of DC, Marvel, and Star Wars.
Harry Potter.
He clearly didn't meet with Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige wouldn't act that way, meeting an actor. I just don't see it. Obviously, do I know Kevin Feige? No. But we've seen enough interviews with him where I'd be a little surprised if Kevin Feige, if an actor said, why do you think I should be in your movie? And he has a little bit of an attitude coming into play, read this part or whatever, and Kevin Feige's like, F off, get out of here. I don't deal with that. I only deal with, Robert Downey Jr., who's known to be more
of
intense and can be, or just a diva is the word I'm looking for. Like,
Oh,
he's worked
okay.
with tons of people that have been considered more diva styles, even if they're not. So, like, what are we doing here? I bet you it was DC. Because they don't know what the heck they're doing over there. They don't know. I would see Zazzy Boy being like, sit down, you're going to be in my movie. And he's like, well, why do you think I should be in your movie? And he's like, you get out of here. Don't you dare talk to me like that. I'm going to use your face and your likeness for the rest of my life. You're
But
going to be...
wouldn't James and Peter be the ones doing those meetings? Could you see them saying F off?
Well, depends on when this meeting took place.
Well, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they only recently took over. It's only been the last handful of months where they got full control.
Yeah. They did a lot for Superman.
I'm just anything.
I'm just teasing. My point being is it likely that it was Feige? Maybe not, but
Probably not.
We also don't know the guy. He could hold up a really good smoke screen and actually be an asshole. Who knows?
Yeah, I just don't like looking at it that way. That's so pessimistic. And it's like, why look at it that way? And I've seen so many interviews
Hollywood's
with him and
brutal,
stuff.
man.
Like, I know, but you can't look at life like that. I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. All right, but yeah, and he's gonna be so good in the Iron Claw. Anyway, what was the other thing we were gonna talk about? This is why I wanted to go over it first. They're bringing everybody back. They're bringing everybody. They want to bring everybody back for a big multiversal battle.
Probably.
Have you been spoiled at all for? Were you spoiled for Loki? I know you saw Loki. Were you spoiled before that?
No.
Have Marvel spoilers been getting to you?
No, actually, it's been pretty quiet.
I think I saw a spoiler for the Marvels, and I can't decide if I'm mad about it or not.
Oh, wait, I might have heard something from Grace Randolph, but now I'm not sure if that's true.
Grace,
she might be right about it, but...
what'd she say?
That there might be a cameo from an X-Men movie, and that's what I'll say.
Yeah, so yeah, we heard the same.
That's so
dumb.
dumb.
I heard at first that it was like supposed to be one of the best after credit scenes. Obviously, we haven't seen the movie. We're both going tomorrow afternoon. I heard some people saying like this is going to be a really good end credit scene to kind of get Marvel feeling back. If this is what it is, and the little I've heard is right, it'll be cool for a little bit of the nostalgic person in me. But anyway, I think the idea of them bringing... So there's a couple... I want to add another rumor on top. There's the rumor as well that Secret Wars or whatever will be headlined by Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man and
Hugh Jackman.
And no, I heard it was going to be then Professor X.
Oh, I heard Hugh.
Those were kind of going to be the leaders. I did hear Hugh as well, actually. I guess you are right. But Hugh Jackman, I'd be shocked. It's just Hugh. He was like, I'm never doing this again. Okay, I'll do one. Now I'm going to do two. It's like...
I mean, Bill Murray's back for the Ghostbusters movie. Anything can happen at this point.
Yeah, but Bill Murray will do anything if you can get him on set. He's happy to be there. It's a little different.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to continue to backpedal. All right. I got a lot of thoughts racing.
Yeah, I don't know what direction you're going in.
I'm gonna pull it. So everything is connected here to Deadpool 3 the rumor is it's going to be them bouncing between multiverses, convincing people to join this big multiversal battle. Whether it's going to end up being Doctor Doom or whether it's going to end up being the Council of Kangs and an army of Kangs. I think that can be fun. I think that sounds fun. And if they get all these old actors to reprise their role, I think that is fun. I don't want it to be spoiled ad nauseum like Spider-Man No Way Home was, because that is, and I know, Kyle, you and I have different opinions on this one here, but I really liked the movie, but it did hurt my viewing experience going in thinking, will they actually, like, it sounds like they probably are in the movie. I don't want that. I want to go in, and if this is the most rumor head I get, that's what I want, is that they might be doing that. Who are they going to contact? Who are they not? Are they going to get old people back? Different versions of people? Are we going to get, all these different actors doing all these different things? That can sound cool to me. An Avengers movie moving forward with Tobey Maguire and all these other big name, old school Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, or even why can't I think of his name? Who played Professor X later? He's so talented. Why can't I think of his name? I'm drawing a blank.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Ian McKellen. If you somehow get these guys and you get the original Nightcrawler and you get Halle back in there with Storm and you do all this stuff, or you take bits and pieces and you actually let them be the characters they are, you don't pull a Ralph Boner joke on us, I do think that can be really cool. And I think that is a really cool idea. I have not read Secret Invasion or Secret Wars, whatever. I have been told, mainly from the TikToks I've seen of Coy Jandreau, who's just awesome, of him saying that this has always been Marvel's plan. He's the big dominant figure I've heard who's really like, this makes more sense if you've read this comic book and these lines of comics, like this is pretty much what it is. Like it makes sense for them to bring all these actors back. And that's where I truly start to deviate of being an optimist to a pessimist. I very much don't want to see RDJ, Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson back. I would even argue that I don't necessarily want to see Hawkeye. I don't know if I necessarily... I would see Kate Bishop because I'll look at Haley Steinfeld.
I mean, who wouldn't?
But I want them to stick to their guns and say, look, even though we did open up that anyone can come back, let's not do that. It's also not like right now that we've seen Robert Downey Jr. in 5 movies that have really struggled since Endgame. He's taken a huge break. He's been producing stuff. He's been hanging with his family. Like Scarlett Johansson has been in a few things. Chris Evans every now and then has been in something, a show, things like that. And it's like, that's what I want to see. I want to see him branch out. It's not like they've been doing failure after failure after failure. Let's run back to Marvel. Kind of like where Daisy Ridley has been at. But just heard her newest movie. Which is a bummer because she's so talented. But I just don't want to see them doing that. I would rather see them convince Tom Cruise to come in for a cameo shot in this big thing as his version of Iron Man. And they're like the famous fan casting, like they kind of did with John Krasinski. I would much rather have that than RDJ come back. I would much rather have Catherine come back and play his daughter for real this time as more of a teen young adult and her take up the mantle, or just Ironheart. Don't introduce all these new heroes, and just because people are saying we don't like them, ditch them immediately. Wakanda Forever, I thought was really good. I really liked Wakanda Forever. I don't think it's as good as Black Panther, the first one, but I think Wakanda Forever was really, really freaking good, and I liked Ironheart in it. I don't think you should ditch her and ditch all these different people just because some people are like, I don't like it. Where's RBDJ? I want my Iron Man that I've already come to love. At some point, we got to rebuild all this. So...
yeah, they just have to admit that there's a rebuilding process. Unfortunately, the rebuilding process hasn't gone swimmingly, but you have to do the work again, basically. I mean, your finale movie was called Endgame. Like, there's going to be general audiences who are like, oh, that's the end. I really like that Iron Man character, but that's the end now, and that's what I am fine with. And now you have to give them a reason to come back, and the projects just have been lackluster, in my opinion, and I don't know, you just kind of have to find a way to understand that you might not be the dominant force of the movie industry that you once were, but maybe it's good to have that perspective and then, do a rebuilding to get back the trust of people. So I don't want those actors returning. I'm fine with them doing their own thing now. I'm fine with having new characters. It's just that I would like the movies and the shows to look better, feel better, tell better stories, be coherent. And yeah, the Deadpool stuff, from what I'm hearing, I'm not a fan of, but I think at this point I've said that enough times I don't need to repeat it. So.
Say it again. What are you not a fan of? I just
the Deadpool rumblings of cameos of, the X-Men characters and all that stuff. Like that just doesn't interest me. So,
well, there's also
but I've said
a
that
rumor
enough times
that it will be that it's not going to be him gathering a team. It's going to be him doing Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, and he will truly go put all those characters to rest by them just bouncing around murdering all of them. You give me an R-rated movie where it's that sounds cool. That sounds better to me than gathering a new crew. So I've always looked. I pulled up the list of all the phases of Marvel. I've always looked at the phases as, and really I've looked at them via Avengers movies as seasons. Season 1 ended with the first Avengers to me. Season 2 ends with Age of Ultron, even though Ant-Man came after. I still would put Ant-Man in that Season 2, whatever. And then the third season ends with Endgame. And Spider-Man Far From Home did come after Endgame, but I will keep that in that season because that's just what it sees. So let's run through this together here. Let's run through. We'll start with the movies and then we'll talk about the shows. And let's count what you and I don't know. No, I am curious where I stand on this too. If you consider it a hit or a miss. And I want to see how many times we think they've truly missed sense, because we did this once long ago with Star Wars. So, I'm going to keep track. I'm going to get a pen here.
Do our due diligence.
Yeah, I think this would just be interesting because the Marvel crazies will say everything has been a hit except for the ones with Brie Larson because for some reason I just can't stand women. That's what they say in their basement. They're like, I can't stand her, even though she was on. Oh my gosh,
she can't stand you guys.
Did you see this clip of her on Good Morning America or whatever? She's talking to Michael Strahan. They were talking about what she does in the gym. And Michael Strahan was like, that's better than me at maybe my peak of my NFL career. He's like, didn't you move a Jeep up a steep hill? And she's like, oh yeah, a mile or two. And
I remember
just
a YouTube channel showing some of her training.
Oh,
I guess I didn't catch all of it, but
I think she deadlifts almost as much as Jalen Hurts. Get her out there running the tush push, baby. Are you kidding me? I would love to be the tight end right there, ready to help support in that situation.
Terrible. Sorry.
We do love you, Bree. We are sorry for the poor jokes. We do love you.
That was in poor taste. I'm sorry.
She is a phenomenal talent, and she does not deserve the hate she gets.
No, God, no.
So let's go over here.
Does.
Let's go over here, okay? What do we define a miss? You and me. I think we should make definitive rules here. What do we define a miss? I would say a miss if I would give it, a C or below. We'll say as a miss. I say a hit has to be a B or higher.
A B minus or higher. Yeah. Yeah, I think I could do that.
So we'll put averages as misses that we want them to make more than average. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So Black Widow.
Below average. I was pretty positive on that one, I think, but looking back on it, I would have changed my review.
Have you rewatched it?
No.
I like a lot of parts about it too, but I'd call it a miss. Even though Florence Pugh's awesome. Next is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Hit or miss? I say hit. I think it's fantastic, and I really want to rewatch it. I
wouldn't go as far as fantastic, but I would say that's above average.
So
I'll give it that. Yeah.
So it's a hit. Okay.
All
right. The Eternals. I go hit. I love that they do something different. I think Chloe Zhao made a movie. She tried her best to make something better than what Marvel was making her do. And it ended with some dumb stuff for the MCU overall because they made her. But I still think she put in some really cool stuff. And it's the most different movie, I think, of maybe all 40 movies.
I appreciate that too, but I still would say it's a miss. I still think there's problems that outweigh the pros.
And we're not talking box office, people. We're just talking our misses.
Personal taste, pretty much.
Spider-Man No Way Home, I think, is a hit. I'm going to assume you go miss.
I would put it in the B minus category, so it's a hit.
Wow. Have you rewatched it since the theater?
No.
Wow, interesting. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Funny enough, I have seen people who are fans, and even they have shared clips of No Way Home, and they're like, I'm a little afraid to rewatch this because I feel like I'm not gonna like it. So
that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
Doctor Strange.
I think that one's a miss.
And we'll get to the shows in a minute. I want to include the shows, but this list only has the films. You think it's a miss. I really like Doctor Strange. I liked it more than I thought I would.
I just like
That's why
Raimi's
it came
direction,
out.
but it's like Eternals.
Yeah.
Like that's
I'm going to give it a hit.
all right.
Thor Love and Thunder. Big, fat
Yeah.
miss.
Yeah, sadly.
By a wide margin. Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
I would go hit.
I would too. And that was the end of Phase 4. Phase 5, Ant-Man
for
and the
the-
Wasp, Quantumania.
No, that's a miss.
This
oh god,
ends
that's
Phase
a miss.
4 on here.
Yeah.
I also,
Are we doing the
I
shows
liked it
too?
more than you, but I would. We will. I just said that we will. But
Okay, my bad.
This only has the movies on this list, so
Okay.
I can't. I gotta think about it. I also would put. I liked it more than you, but I would put it as a miss as well. Ant-Man. Guardians 3.
Hit.
Okay, hit. And I would also say a hit. So that ends it, except for the Marvels, which we haven't seen until tomorrow. And then apparently Phase 5 is just going to be Ant-Man, Guardians, the Marvels, Deadpool, Captain America, Brave New World. And then Phase 6, according to this, is Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty, Blade, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four. Interesting.
I mean, Feige has tried to express that he doesn't care about the phases and that we don't need to go off of that, but I think that's a battle he's losing.
Yeah, it's also just, I don't know, it was fun back then. It's hard to lose that kind of fun.
Yeah, I actually do. I actually did kind of like grouping them like that. I don't know why. Just something fun about it for some reason.
So, I'll go over the results at the end here.
Okay.
So for the shows, WandaVision, hit or miss? I say hit. I think WandaVision was great.
I would lessen on it, but I would still call it a hit.
And this is your personal hit, not what you think people would consider your personal hit. Okay, I want to make sure we're clear on that. Falcon
Scout's
Winter
honor.
Soldier. I liked Falcon Winter Soldier. I say hit.
Yeah, yeah, same thing as WandaVision, probably.
Loki,
Yes.
I think might be the best thing since Endgame after season 2 finished.
Yeah.
So good. What If? Miss. I think it's absolutely overrated. Didn't even finish it.
I think that one's actually well hated. I
Hawkeye.
don't think it's overrated.
I hope you're right. Hawkeye.
Miss.
I will never, ever put Haley as a miss. That's a hit. Moon Knight.
Miss.
I also, I liked Moon Knight a lot more than you, but I will also consider it a miss. Just to make up for the fact that I probably should switch Moon Knight and Hawkeye, but can't not put Haley there for me. Miss Marvel, I think's a hit.
Yeah, I just wish it stuck the landing better. It started off so strong.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, that one's a miss.
It's an absolute miss. And and then Secret Invasion.
I didn't finish that.
I didn't finish it either. I know how it ends because I've seen spoilers since, but it's a miss. And you know what's
Man,
weird?
that one was rough.
First 3 episodes, I remember kind of digging. I remember not hating it, and then we moved across country, and I never went back.
I don't even remember when I stopped. Maybe it was episode 3 too, but it just was not doing it for me. There was just no juice to it.
My watch is blown up. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer. They just wasted Amelia Clark.
I think there was a lot of production issues too, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think so too. So, there are... That math can't be right. Now the math is right. So there are a total of 18 projects.
Too many.
18 projects.
In 3 years, too many.
I agree. I think... Oh! Wasn't one of the topics my Marvel theory?
It can be. Let's do it.
Oh. Or not a theory. I think Marvel should take a fat year off. A whole year. Nothing. No shows, no movies, nothing.
They're kind of doing that in
Fat
2024.
year.
There was some
Yeah, they
dates
just
changed.
moved a bunch of dates. Yeah, I saw
Deadpool 3
that.
is the only one in 2024.
And it's Christmas. And it's Christmas, isn't it? I thought they moved it to December.
I don't remember now. Maybe.
I think that's excellent. We need a long break from Marvel. Figure your shit out.
Honestly, it's so funny because 2020, 2021 probably would have been the perfect time to do that, especially after Endgame, and there was a pandemic too, but people would have lost their mind if there was no Marvel anything. Like, you think we're annoying now that the projects stink? Imagine if there was like nothing coming out. Like, the fans would be in shit. Like, there would be riots from the
Let them
fanboys.
riot. Let them scream it to the heavens for a year. Seriously. Because
in context, now that we know, but
when that
it
first trailer would come out, like if they end it with Deadpool and then or like something like that, like you take a year off and you wait, it builds up the anticipation. I've been saying Star Wars should be doing that. You should only be making Andor and only Andor. I know they have because Episode 9 is,
but not because of a plan, because they're
Yep. Okay, so out of the 18 projects since Endgame, you were saying you say that they have a 44% hit rate. You had 8 hits to 10 misses.
8's pretty impressive.
I have them at 11 hits and 7 misses at 61%. Now, I don't know about you at home, but if you've been to school, you know that both those grades are a big fat doggy doo-doo F. They're bad. Even my 61% is more optimistic. That's a D-. Kyle, you didn't even show up to the exam. You put your name on it and got 44 points.
I didn't show up to the exam?
Why are you saying it like I've missed an exam? What exam did I miss?
I'm saying Marvel just forgot there was a textbook that...
It's true.
Come on. Not our fault.
It's like we were going to this class called Marvel, you know, for years and years, and we've been doing
And the
really well.
teacher came in drunk.
And then one day you just walked in. It's like they were like, "Hey guys, you all aced that Endgame test. That was so awesome. Great job. We'll see y'all after winter break." You come back from winter break. They're like, "No homework." You come back and you sit down, and they're like, "There's the huge test. Did you study for it?" And you're like, "No."
I'm teacher of the year. That means something. And then just...
I mean, I am with you. We agree that Marvel is struggling. It's not in shambles. That word was annoying me. I literally scrolled through my TikTok and every video started like this. The MCU is in shambles. Did you know the MCU's in shambles? Oh my God, the MCU is in shambles. The MCU's in shambles? And it was like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Idiot, 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 idiot. It's just ridiculous.
What a little...
They're not idiots, but just too much.
Token term that can just be thrown around willy-nilly, and it doesn't mean anything.
Some of the Marvel fanboys are ridiculous. I saw a clip of one of their YouTube, their list of videos, and it was like reaction to a trailer, Marvel's in shambles, everything's awful, and then it was like, the MCU will never be the same again. Oh my God, I loved Loki season 2 so much. It's saved the MCU, and it's like that happened within 3 days from each other.
Was it the guy... I forget his name.
Soups? It was Soups.
Yeah, and like the video in between, he had like facial hair, and then the other 2 videos, like it outside of it, were like
I didn't notice
no
that.
facial hair, same picture, different filter. Oh my God, like he has to be. It's just on purpose. He doesn't even care. Like there's no way that he actually gives a crap. Like he's just going with it.
I love Star Wars, and even I can admit when Star Wars is messing around. Like,
I think these types of fans have just grown up with knowing that Marvel is the thing that is just and I'm admittedly victim of this too. Like recognizing that it's not the thing anymore, and that's okay. It can just be a thing that you enjoy, come back to it whenever you want to. Like we don't need these to be like the powerhouses, really. We never really needed them to, but we just became used to that. Because they've just had a crazy track record. Like it's okay to like different things and not have have it be the thing.
I think the Marvel execs should just sit down and go rewatch Iron Man 1 and be like, "Look, we made this for what, 100 million, maybe less. Like we made this for this budget, and it worked. Let's go back to this. Let's just make a couple of good movies. It still looks better than Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Oh my God,
Quantumania or
yeah.
whatever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And She-Hulk, don't even get me started. Oh,
225 million on that show.
I know. Isn't it
crazy.
the highest? Isn't it the highest produced thing ever for TV
Sure, probably.
per episode? I think that's just insane because there was only like
No,
7
that you
episodes.
don't need to.
No.
There was
you
also
don't.
behind the scenes issues with like organizing, laying out the show or whatever because they don't know how to make shows. But that's just atrocious. That's not how TV works.
Did you hear Tatiana Maslany? There was like a report going around that she was like really mad at another show for their main actor getting paid a lot more than she got paid for She-Hulk or something like that.
No, but I'm not surprised because the industry sucks. That's messed up. But no, I did not hear about that. I hope that's not the case, but you know.
How about
there's
the
been
Echo
progress.
trailer though? That trailer looks good. It
Oh,
looks
Marvel's
like
back, baby.
Daredevil. It looks like Daredevil, and I love that they took a page out of that. I think that's great. Give us a really good show.
I wouldn't go as far to say like it feels like Daredevil, but at the very least it feels
More like Daredevil than anything else.
more adjacent to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
which
saying.
wasn't what I was expecting, I suppose. So at least it's surprising me. I hope the finished product is good because trailers can be misleading. But
definitely. No, I agree with you.
But that trailer surprised me. I was impressed by how that show looked.
I also thought it was like shelved indefinitely or something. I thought I heard a report that it was shelved indefinitely and we were never going to see it.
I think that was more of a rumor, but I don't know. At this point, projects just get tossed aside and written off as a tax write-off, so you never know, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We got about 9 minutes here. Was there anything else on this docket we wanted to quickly go over?
Did you want to talk
I
about?
kind of took 15 minutes. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. These conversations are fun. Did you want to talk about the film festival you went to real quick? Do you want to cap off with that? Talk about a movie you saw?
Oh, I got yeah. I apologize. I went to the Philadelphia because that's where I moved to. Go Birds. 8-1, baby. I moved, and so one of the big things on the list. Had a list of things wanted to do now that I'm not living in a city of 30,000. I'm living in a city with like 8 million or something. Not 8 million. I think it's closer to like 4 million. But now that I wanted to do things. Film Festival was on that. As soon as they dropped their slate,
The Philadelphia
started looking at
Film Festival.
Yeah, I started looking at a ton of movies to go see. I want to support them completely. I have not become a member yet. I didn't know that was a thing until I went to the festival. I got to figure out how to become a member and how much it costs if you have to pay, because I would love to do that. And to be completely honest, there's a movie I did not get to see there that is a documentary called Bad Things Happen in Philly. And it won their documentary award for this. And so I went and saw Saltburn, which will come out here in a couple weeks.
I'm so excited.
Excellent. I loved it. And I am so glad I did not watch the trailer beforehand. I made it a point. When we picked that movie, I made it a point. And I saw that trailer for the first time the other day in front of what movie did I just go see on Tuesday? Priscilla. When I went and saw Priscilla, I left to go to the bathroom right after I saw that trailer just to text our movie group people. And seeing that trailer after you see the movie is wild. People, the way they advertise, trailers do not tell you the whole story if you're smart, because I was sitting there like, this, when you know the context behind all these scenes, you will lose your freaking mind.
So it's a good trailer then. That was
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can't give anything away in this movie. It's bonkers.
Love it.
The head of the film
ready.
festival said he said something like he said, I saw Saltburn in LA a couple months ago or whatever, and he goes, at that theater people cheered, people cried, people hollered, people did all these different things because this movie is wild. And he goes, I want this crowd to be better than that crowd. Enjoy this movie in this moment.
Sick.
And it was It was really, really good. And so they went over a few, because I went on closing night. I wanted to go see Maestro. I wanted to go see The Holdovers, which I'll see this week. There were lots of movies I wanted to see.
Love it.
But I didn't really pay attention to the documentary category. But the woman who made it, I don't remember her name off the top of my head. I can pull it up.
Who made Saltburn?
No, not. I'm talking about Bad Things Happen in Philadelphia. This documentary. I want to keep talking about that.
Okay.
So this this movie was made by a woman named I apologize if I'm butchering her name, Kyra Knox. Oh, that was a very bad slur of my words there coming out. Can't read. Knox. I apologize. She happened to be there for Saltburn. And her movie won the award for Best Documentary. And she was like freaking out and all excited, as you should be. And everybody was there. They were like, get up on stage. Like, come talk for a second. And I'm new here. I'm not from here. But as soon as she started speaking, I instantly looked at my girlfriend and I was like, I want to see this documentary immediately. And she was like, me too. And they showed it the next day. We weren't able to make it. But it is going to start streaming. I think you're going to be able to rent it on Amazon soon or buy it. And we are planning to. She was so cool. And that was the environment I really wanted, where you meet these people. Like my brother, shout out to Annie Essays, just crossed 6,000 subs on his channel. Awesome job.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, nice. I saw that the other day on Twitter. He works for the Austin Film Festival, which is one of the biggest in the country. And he got to meet Emerald Farrell and all these different people, and that's awesome. I'm not taking anything away from that. But the thing that I love so much about these film festivals and why I wanted to go is to also meet all these other people. And I didn't meet her, but just to hear her talk as just a fan of filmmaking, it was really cool what she talked about the city and all this stuff. So I really... that was really cool. And shout out to the theater and the theater crew, because some woman had a medical emergency. Like she was choking on something. I still don't even know what happened. She either choked on something. We were in the middle of the movie, really intense part, and all of a sudden you just hear, doctor, doctor. That's what I heard first, doctor, doctor. And I immediately was like, what? And I kind of like did a half turn. I didn't really turn. I did like a half turn. And then I hear, we need a doctor. Somebody just shouts it. Like not shouts, but like a really loud dad stern. Someone else kind of came in and was like, we need a doctor. And I turn around. And this dude like 3 rows behind me gets up. He goes, I'm a doctor. Bolts over there. And it sounds like the little we gathered, she fainted. She may have been choking on something, and then something had happened, so she fainted. She tried to get up and leave the theater, wasn't able to at first. So we were paused. They paused the movie, brought the lights up, and everybody just kind of chilled in there for about 20 minutes. But everybody handled it really well and helped this poor woman out, and she walked out just fine. So that was really, really cool. You love seeing that. The theater itself was awesome. It was like, it felt like you were in an older, not an older, like it looks old, but like old school style stage theater. But it was designed for movies. There was maybe fit 100 people in there, maybe more, 150, and people from all walks of life. There were people we were sitting next to who are our age. There were people who looked like they clearly need to go touch some grass, and they might be Marvel wackos. Like there were a couple people I overheard some conversations, and I was like, "What? How'd this guy get out of his basement?" There were some really old people, like. There was like this couple, and they were walking out, and they were like, that reminded me of La La Land. And I was like, how? How did this movie make you think
Do they mean
La La
Babylon?
No. I haven't even seen Babylon, and I know. When you see Saltburn, I'll tell you the part that there's a part at the end that specifically they were talking about. I can't believe you remembered the tune.
It's a good movie.
It is a very good movie. But that was the coolest thing. Next year, it cost us about $50 to go. It was about $25 per ticket. Could have spent another $25 to go to an after party. Next year, I'm thinking I'm going to do this after party. But I want to get a weekly pass and try to hit at least 3 movies is my goal next year. Go from 1 to 3.
Cool.
Because it was just really cool. Waiting in line. With everybody on the street, the big city environment, it felt kind of cool and special. Film festivals are cool. They're really cool, and they did have some big names show up. John Legend was here in Philly promoting a movie. They had some other big names, and now they're escaping me. John Legend, I remember, but Yeah, I really want to watch this documentary because I think it's going to be really cool. And you want to support those people, you know? You want to support the local artists who make something that's really good that not a lot of people get to see. Like Chestnut was another movie I really wanted to see with our girl from Stranger Things. Like there were so many movies I just wish I could have seen at this film festival, just didn't get a chance to. But it was cool seeing a movie early. We've been, I know you and I have been annoyed with my brother for the last like 2 years. He's like, I saw Knives Out so much earlier, three months earlier than you, and now I'm in the ball game, baby. Don't you hesitate.
Proud of you both. Mostly
Even though I missed the window when Past Lives was here, and then it immediately all copies went to Kyle's local old theater. I still haven't seen it. I need to see it.
It's so good. So good.
I know it's on.
I can't wait for you.
List. Killers tonight. I'm gonna watch Killers tonight. I'm excited for that one.
Me too. Yeah.
The Killer.
Look at us.
Called. Look at us. We're back, baby. Hey,
we're back,
we never
baby.
Left. All right, guys. What do you think of the video of the show today? Comment below. Let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.